Do you ever feel like you have nothing to wear? Hi, my name is Coralie, and you're watching The Classy Consultant. Welcome if you're new, but also welcome if you've come back. So I recently did a poll on my Instagram where I let my followers choose between two possible YouTube videos based solely on pictures, and the votes were so close that I decided I'm gonna do them both back to back. This one won by one vote. Alright, before we get right into it, this channel is all about how to improve yourself, become a better you, and become a high-value woman. And now, what you've all been waiting for, let's get right into tip number 1. Don't impulse buy. I am so guilty of this one. Sometimes you walk into the store and think you're going to buy one item, and you only come for that item. However, then you see a bunch of other items you like, and you end up leaving the store with a huge bag full of items you impulsively bought. It is so important to think before buying and make sure that every garment you buy checks off all the boxes that you see on this video. One thing that really helps me is to remember why I came to the store. For example, let's say you have tons of blouses. Just make sure next time you go to the store, if you are going to impulsively buy something, make sure it's not a blouse. Also, just because an item is pretty doesn't mean it's right for you. This is my rule. If I don't say an absolute yes to this item and I only say, oh, maybe.
Maybe.
When will you wear wigs?
It's not a yes, and therefore it's not a good use of your money. Not only does it save your bank account, but it also saves your mind and your energy, because we should all be mindful about the things that we're bringing into our life, even if it's as simple as clothes. Anything that we bring into our life should not be brought in impulsively. Habit number 2, think quality, not quantity. If you're buying a lot of items and you got them all on sale for a great deal, but they break in a year and they're just very low quality, you're wasting a lot of money compared to buying one item that was a bit more expensive, but it has good material and good quality. Currently, I've been trying to take control of my spending habits. So my new habit to implement and my new challenge for myself, especially over the summer where I'm going to have all the time in the world to go and buy myself a bunch of new clothes, I know for a fact that I don't need them as much. So instead of buying 10 million low quality clothes, I'm going to save my money and invest in 1 or maybe 2 high quality items per month. Then I'll know for sure that I'm spending my hard-earned money wisely and that those outfits are going to last me for years to come. Tip number 3, always invest in good materials. Remember, before you buy something, read the composition and the materials listed on the item. Some people actually end up being very allergic to specific cheap materials in clothing. For example, last winter, I found out that I'm actually really allergic to acrylic. I had no idea about that before, and then I ended up finding out that lots of other people are too. I wonder why. Cheap materials like acrylic and polyester are not very good for your skin. They're really artificial, they're not breathable, and they break easier. Whereas high-quality materials such as cotton, linen, wool, cashmere, silk, etc. last for longer and have a lot more benefits. Lots of people sleep with silk pillowcases in order to help the skin on their face. And since we're going right into summer, linen is the perfect fabric to be breathable but still super classy and elegant. It also helps if you're like me and you still like to wear full-on pants in the summer. Unfortunately, because of my impulse buying, I have a lot of clothes right now that I bought in the past that are now breaking after 1 to 2 years of owning them. And it's really upsetting because I have to go in and rehem my pants, rehem my skirts, redo the sleeves on my shirts. And it's very annoying because there's nothing worse than being out in public only to realize that your shirt's thread is coming loose, or your sleeves are popping up, or the hem of your pants is falling down. And even though I do like to sew, that's not something that I want to spend my time and my thread doing. Conversely, good materials really do fall well on your body. They're more structured, they don't have this limp, flimsy shape, and when you put them on, they really don't look frumpy. I can tell you a story of an event that I went to where I was wearing a really pretty black dress, but the problem was that the material just felt very cheap. And even though I was supposed to be having a really fun time at this event, I just felt super self-conscious. Not because the dress was ugly, it actually looked really good from the outside and was barely noticeable for the material that it was, but I just really didn't like how thin it was and how it sat. I would have much rather gone out in a material that I felt confident and expensive in. Tip number 4, know your best and worst colors. Now, if you haven't seen my other video on color theory and how to find your best colors, I would recommend seeing that video first before you continue on with this, because or else you will not know what I'm talking about. That video is linked in my bio, and I absolutely recommend checking it out because color theory is the first fashion thing that ended up completely changing my life. Now, make sure based on your contrast level, shade, and skin tone that you're wearing your best colors. And even if you're just going to wear the colors that are just okay on you, that's all right too, but make sure you aren't wearing your worst colors, because I know clothes can look so pretty, but sometimes they just look really bad on us. For example, I adore the color sky blue or ice blue, like a baby blue. There's a lot of ways to call it. I'll put it right up here. It's one of my favorite colors, especially on clothes, and I see it looks so nice on other people. However, it happens to be one of the colors that washes me out. I know you can't really see the color that I'm wearing right now because of the lighting, but it is a dark green in proper lighting, and it's one of my favorite colors to wear because it brings out all my features so much. And this is actually one of my favorite shirts that I bought recently, and everyone keeps telling me that they really love it. Although lots of us think that we can just get away with wearing neutral colors, although that is easier, some neutrals look better on other people, remember? It's such a good idea to invest in the neutrals that are best for you. Over my Japan trip, I found out that there were so many other kinds of neutrals that I could wear that were not black that looked so good on me, and it completely changed my game when it comes to neutral colors. Tip number 5, try to avoid buying too many power pieces. So how I would define a power piece is the focus of the outfit, something with either a bold print, an interesting texture, or a very bright color. The problem with these pieces is that though they are fun and though they are most likely our favorite pieces, for example, this is a power piece, sometimes they're just really difficult to pair with other outfits. Because of their crazy patterns, sometimes they clash with the other elements in our wardrobe. For the ideal wardrobe, it's best to have a lot more basics than you have power pieces, because then you can style those basics around and you can mix it up a lot easier. I know I'm trying to get rid of some of my clothes and create the capsule wardrobe everybody wants, and that was going to be one of the tips in this video, but I can't really speak on it since I don't have one. However, I did hear of a colors of suits formula that you can use to always have colors that match. If I remember correctly, they were black, white, gray, tan, brown, and navy blue that always match each other.
5 suits you need to get: black, navy, gray, brown, tan. You get those 5 suits, you get yourself 2 white shirts, get yourself 2 cream color shirts, and 2 powder blue shirts.
Tip number 6, invest in timeless pieces. Timeless or classic pieces are the ones that never go out of style, that you'll see 50 years from now and they still look good on the majority of people. The opposite, however, is trendy pieces that go out of style in 2 months to a year that you can never wear with anything else because then it looks outdated. And what I mean by dated, don't confuse that for vintage, because vintage and dated can mean 2 very different things. Vintage is dressing a bit more old-fashioned. However, you're taking the good aspects of it and you're making it your own. I'm the kind of person who likes to dress more vintage sometimes, and it's a big part of my particular aesthetic. However, dressing dated is when you're taking the things that are not so good about that era and those trends. It's like when you are a blast from the past, but not in a good way. If you don't want your clothes to go out of style in 2 years, make sure to buy classic and timeless pieces. Make sure they make up the majority of your wardrobe. For example, a pair of classically cut jeans, a trench coat, which is my personal favorite, a nice blazer, or black pumps. A very famous one, an expression that everybody knows, is the little black dress. Everybody talks about looking good in a little black dress because it's true. It's such a classic piece that can vary a lot based on what you buy and the person who's wearing it. And no, it's something that never gets boring and that you can style the way you want.
Nikki, it's that little black dress. Teresa's been acting like a major diva ever since she put it on. Of course!
Tip number 7, make sure all your clothes fit properly. I know this sounds very obvious, but it's actually frequently disobeyed as a rule. I've done it before as well a couple times where I've bought shirts that I just really liked and I thought they were so pretty even though they didn't fit me as well as they should have. And no, I'm not talking about oversized fits or fitted tops or fitted pants. I'm talking about the ones that are genuinely too big or too small. Because if it's just way too big for you and it feels like you're drowning in it, then you don't get to see your shape, you get super drowned out. It looks like you're wearing somebody else's clothes and it looks like the clothes are wearing you. Conversely, if your clothes are too small, you can find yourself pulling them down, pulling them up, picking at them, which is just really not a good look because fidgeting with your clothes is typically not something where you look put together. A word best used to describe clothes that are too small is frumpy, and trust me, that's not a word that you want to be described with. Tip number 8, buy clothes that suit your body type. No, I'm not talking about weight, I'm talking about actual body shape and bone structure. There are many different theorists who have come up with different ways to describe different body shapes and how to classify them into different types, such as Kibbe or the style essences. There are many different things like that. I can actually make a video on that if you would like. Drop a note in the comments if you would like to see me make a video about that and help you understand more about different body types. It's very important to know what works for you and know what definitely doesn't. For example, I'm not a fan of straight skirts. I don't like skirts that just go down because I like to emphasize my waist and my hips. So I like to wear more so like wrap skirts or a trumpet skirt. There are many different types of things you can do that specifically suit your body, and knowing what works for you will make you confident in everything you wear and you won't have to worry that it looks kind of funny. To be honest, that is the second component that absolutely changed my life when it comes to fashion. Before we continue on to tip number 9, here's a question for you. What specific type of clothing do you really like for your body type? Leave it in the comments so we can all share our favorite types of clothing. Tip number 9, buy clothes that transcend aesthetics. What I mean by this is everybody has their own aesthetic, right? I have a very specific aesthetic that tends to change frequently, and I have some friends who do the exact same thing. Unfortunately, this results in a lot of wardrobe chaos. For example, last summer, I was dressing very Victorian, like a Victorian lady from 1895 in the Sherlock Holmes era, which I absolutely love. I love all of their clothing construction, like puffy sleeves. I still love puffy sleeves. And the ruffles on the collar, I loved it so much. However, that style I quickly outgrew and went to a bit of a more fantasy route before coming to femme fatale and then going to a more vintage and then coming back to modern and going to vintage again. It goes on and my style constantly changes. So it can become very difficult to maintain a specific wardrobe with specific clothing if you're just constantly changing your style. That's why, for me personally, and for anybody who especially is having a fashion self-discovery moment right now, good luck to you, first of all, please buy clothes that transcend aesthetics, that can fit into many different kinds of styles, which brings us back to the timeless pieces because those often can get lost in the eras, you know? Era clothes or like era defining pieces are obviously great to have because those make up a staple, right? However, make sure that your very specific to the era pieces are minimal and few, while your versatile pieces are most of your wardrobe. I personally have this one specific shirt that I can never wear because I don't know what to style it with other than Victorian from last summer, but it is one of my favorite shirts and I love to wear it. It's amazing, but it's just a bit crazy. It's this one right here. See, look, even the fun little ruffled sleeves and the pendant on here and the ruffles. This was my puffy sleeve Victorian era shirt. I love it so much, but I don't know how to style it. If you have any way to style it that's a bit more modern than the Sherlock Holmes era, please tell me. Finally, our last tip, habit number 10. Make sure you buy clothes that are practical and fit your lifestyle. There is nothing worse than buying something that you can't wear most of the time for physical reasons. Sometimes you want to wear specific clothes, but you just never get the occasion to. I am one of those people. I love skirts, I absolutely love skirts, but I am a biker, and I tend to ride my bike to most places. So that can be a bit of an issue, having to pack another outfit in your bag and change into that when your bag's already heavy, right? That's how I get my physical activity in the busy periods of the year, is I bike to my places. So that leaves no time to wear skirts, does it? Which is why most of my wardrobe consists of pants and shorts. Obviously, I would love to buy more skirts and not have to be outlandishly creative with the pants that I buy just to make it fit the bill. However, I know for a fact that it wouldn't be responsible to be constantly buying more clothes that I can't wear on a daily basis just because it doesn't fit my lifestyle. Obviously, there are some exceptions to this rule. For example, if you want to have 1 to 2 formal dresses in your closet or some suits and pantsuits, I absolutely recommend doing that because you do not want to get stuck having to go to an event last minute and having nothing to wear, and then having to go to the tailor to get this all done for you and make sure it fits properly on a short notice, because that can be really stressful and scary. Make sure that if you're a girl who wears heels, which I am, so I know if you have a struggle, I know exactly how you feel. Training to wear heels for the first time was a big challenge for me because I had to learn to do that during a show. I had to learn how to wear heels and run in heels for a show that I was in. So that was fun, I guess. But if you're in regular life, I hope that you don't have to run in your heels, and that if you do, you don't have heels that are very impractical for what you're doing. For example, lots of workplaces, if they even let you wear heels, they don't want to let you wear any open-toed shoes. My workplace does allow me to wear heels, and I wear them sometimes, but we are not allowed to wear open-toed shoes because that can result in accidents. Or for example, if you're wearing a stiletto heel and you're about to walk in the grass and all your parties that you have where you have the occasion to wear these heels are outside, that's probably not a good idea to have. Also remember the formality of your heels. You don't want to have these really outlandish shoes that you never get to wear. For example, really crazy club heels. I don't know where else you would be able to wear that once you're done with your big partying days. Now those were my 10 high-value habits to shop smarter. I hope those really work for you because they work for me, and I know that I'm still learning. We're all still learning, right? I know that there were so many different kinds of outfit terms and things to elaborate on in this video. So if you would like me to make a video about any of the topics that I did list, absolutely leave a comment down below, or you can just follow me on my Instagram and send me a DM with an idea for a new video. But for now, I hope you spend the summer buying pieces that are good for you and that you don't waste your hard-earned money on anything that you don't end up using. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day with nice outfits and stay classy.